People who drain your spiritual energy, which would be like your faith, people who in your power, people who drain your strength and your overall energy.
On a different cloth. Your fabric was created by hand created by God. So you are held at a higher level. But if you don't follow the divine, you're gonna fall and you ain't gonna get back up. Who came into your life to try to break you? I don't care who came into your life trying to abuse you, use you, speak down to you. You are worthy. Remember, ladies, when God has a calling over your life, the devil will send a dusty bum to try to distract you from your purpose. And you women get so intertwined into these men that you forget who you are. Men, some of you have divine purposes in your life. Divine favor. Some of you are still alive and don't even know why you're still alive. Some of you just dodged a crazy car wreck. Some of you lost all your money, made it all back times 10. Some of you are just favored by God, but your favor will leave you if you don't move in the characteristics of the Most High. God gonna stop favoring you because you're playing with God, brothers. Hebrew Israelite, only God can lead you on the paths of divine grace.
Delilah stole his energy, his power, his strength to fuel the Philistines. She also was a spiritual vampire because she took away from his spirituality, his spiritual growth, his power, and she also was an energy vampire because that also was his strength.
On my journey right now, I know it's gonna sound weird, it's gonna sound crazy. I don't view sex as people view sex. I don't even really like talking about it in a sense because it's not physical for me, it's spiritual for me. It's a connection. But what made me kind of shy away from talking about it is because when I talk to women, it seemed like they was chasing after a fetish or they was seeking arousal or things of that nature and really wanted clout from those type of situations and conversations, but they don't understand, like, when you with God, this is spiritual unification. This not no just, in and out to put, I'm beating up back in.
Thy righteousness is like the great mountains. Thy judgments are a great deep. O Most High, thou preservest man and beast. Preserve me, O Most High, for in thee do I put my trust. The Most High shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Though I walk in the midst of my trouble, thou wilt revive me. Thou shalt stretch forth thy hand against the wrath of my enemies, and the right hand shall save me. Shalom, my lovely people. I am now going to talk about spiritual vampires and energy vampires. Definition: people who drain your spiritual energy, which would be like your faith, people who in your power, people who drain your strength and your overall energy. They do that in order to fuel theirs or for the enjoyment because they lack that, they desire it and just don't have it. Or they don't desire it, but they still don't want you to have it. Targets: spiritual people who are chosen by the Most High. They also target creative people, talented people. They target sympathetic people who are loving, kind, and caring. People who are empathetic, which can also be kind of two different things, but also empaths. Because these are beautiful traits, and that saying, take your kindness for weakness. And a lot of people who work in the healthcare system can be targets for energy and spiritual vampires, just because they are caregivers. And unfortunately, people like to drain that. Patients who just feel like we owe them something and they come to the hospital for pampering. Like, pamper you is not my job. I'm supposed to take care of you. Before I get into this, I want to make clear energy vampires and trauma dumping is two different things. Trauma dumping is when someone spill out, one or two traumas that may happen in their life, and it's the dumping is centered around that. They actually want help. They seeking help or support or healing. Whereas energy vampire is different. So in scripture, an example of an energy vampire or spiritual vampire would be Delilah. The story of Samson and Delilah in Judges 16. Delilah preyed on Samson. She disguised herself as a lover, and she drained Samson's strength and power and his energy to fuel the Philistines, to take back information for the Philistines in order for them to have victory. He needed his hair for his strength. So she used her lust, his attraction to her, in order to drain that information out of him. Because she cut his hair, she also was a spiritual vampire because she took away from his spirituality, his spiritual growth, his power, and she also was an energy vampire because that also was his strength. Comorbilities. I have to use a medical term right now for lack of other terms. Some people who are energy vampires may also suffer from depression and anxiety, borderline personality disorder, bipolar disorder, unhealed trauma, abuse and neglect is very common. Narcissism, very common. You definitely will see that in a lot of these attributes. And histrionic disorder. That's a very dramatic person, like on 10 all the time, very theatrical, on 10 all the time. Signs and attributes of a spiritual or energy vampire: someone who is full of toxicity, someone who's full of drama and trauma, someone who is very negative, criticism, and bullies. Get-overs, users, needy people, people who want things on their terms all of the time. Competitive people, being competitive when this is not a sport you're about to, this is not a competition. Why are you always competitive? That is a toxic trait. Jealous-spirited people, people who want things for themselves all of the time. Attention seekers, people who are centers of attention. They talk about themselves all of the time. People who, this can go with bullying, people who belittle other people, people who diminish other people in order to play up themselves, and overly talkative and exaggerating people. Like, what is the purpose of that? People who avoid accountability, people who blame others, people who expect others to take on their responsibility, people who send people on guilt trips when they don't get their way, people who gaslight people, give ultimatums. That goes back to narcissism. People who are codependent. They need company. They need companions all of the time, even when they don't want it or not ready for a relationship mentally or financially. You're not even, ready for a relationship, but you are codependent. So you're going to leech on to this person.
Ladies, if you're trying to save a man, take care of a man, you're trauma bonding. There's something in your childhood that told you this is okay. It's okay to take care of this man. It's okay to dress this man. It's okay to deal with his disrespect. Something in you is trauma bonding. He's unable to express emotional intelligence. He's unable to function as a man. He still suffers from some childhood trauma. He needs a mother figure. You're being a mother figure. Brothers, you believe in your heart that a woman is supposed to take care of you. Brothers, this is abuse on all levels. Even if it's not physical. To overly work a woman and do nothing in return is abuse. Because we men, we think long as we're not cussing her out, we're not putting our hands on her, we're good. No, man. To overly work a woman and you do nothing in return is a form of abuse. It's breaking a woman down at an emotional level, a mental level, a spiritual level. It's lowering her self-esteem, her self-worth. That's the lazy father. So we went from the providing father that was verbally abusive, mentally abusive, physically abusive, the lazy father, the father that wasn't there, so the mother had to become the masculine role. Now, let's go into the father that played with your mind. The father that the mother kicked out because he wasn't a good man. And then your mother tries to shield you from his trauma, protect you from his trauma, not realizing that when you got to a certain age, you would see him for what he was. So she tried to keep you away from him. rather than allowing you to grow so you can see who he was. She tried her best to keep you away from him. And then now when you finally get around him, he says, you know, your mom kept me from you. You know, I try to come into your life, man. I try to be there for you, man. Every excuse on the book. Every excuse, he has every excuse on why he didn't provide for you, why he couldn't love you, why he couldn't go through a third party to make sure you was good. He blamed everything on your mother. Now you're suffering with, man, my mom kept me from my dad, man. My dad wanted to be there in my life. My mom kept me away. Brothers, don't allow these weak men to play with your minds. Because at the end of the day, your mother provided your food, your shelter. She might not have been the best person because she didn't know how to raise a boy. She was never taught how to raise a boy, speak to a boy. She's not a man, she doesn't know. But all she knows is she's trying to protect her child from a man that's completely toxic. So, please, if you have a father that played with your mind, yeah, man, your mother, yeah, I couldn't be there because your mom was this, your mom was that. Now he's speaking bad about your mother to you, downing your mother to you. And you're so hurt on the way she raised you, not realizing she was trying to turn you into a man without knowing, you start to go more your father's way and look down on your mother, when in all actuality, he's the toxic one. And now he's playing with your mind. Now you looking at the woman you had children by and you feeling some type of way because you allowed the toxicity that your mother tried to protect you from all these years, you allowed your father to finally pour in the toxic stuff. And the truth is, he knows in his heart he lost a good woman, so even 20 years later, 30 years later, sometimes 40 years later, he's still talking bad about your mother because he know a good one got away. Because brothers, I'm gonna keep it real with you. No man talks about a bad woman. No man keeps talking about a bad woman. A man can't wait to forget about a bad woman. We're not gonna keep mentioning her. So if your father keeps mentioning your mother in a bad way, it's because he knows a good woman got away and he's upset with himself. I need the men to listen. Listen to me and listen to understand. Don't listen to rebuttal. Don't hear my words and try to come up with something quick to say after this. Because you're not arguing with me, you'll be arguing with God. And that's what we don't need. When you bring a woman into your life, you should be put together with your spiritual, mental, emotional, and financial image. Being able to utilize emotional intelligence. So even when you're angry or you're hurt or you're mad, you're able to articulate yourself without roar and able to talk to the woman rather than talking at the woman, insulting the woman. Because verbal abuse is as bad as physical abuse. And it's hard for you to tell a woman you love her after you just cursed her out and called her all out her name. You should be able to know how to articulate yourself when you're angry or upset or displeased. And I pray that this brings healing to your lives and you understand what's really going on.
People who want information from you that is crossing boundaries, always asking private information, SAMSON and DELILAH. The group setting, you can point them out by the person who's always asking personal questions, the person who's shifting the conversation towards them, the person who fit themselves into other people's situations. Somebody else is talking and here you go, making it about you. The person who rejects solutions. So they just want to talk about their problems, but when you try to present them a solution for it, they don't want to hear that part. They're not interested in a solution. Or they may pretend, right, at the time. But then you talk to this person, this could be individual, more so what I'm about to say right now, because in this group, you may not have this group again, but if you encounter that person again, you give them advice, they don't take it, but then they come back and they're complaining about the same thing. Like, that is draining in itself. Why you keep complaining about this situation and you're not going to change? I hate when people do that. People who talk over you, like you can't get a word out. Just They insert themselves into a conversation. So you may be in a group and here they come in your business. People who ignore social cues and boundaries, like you might try to give them a cue that we don't want you here, but they ignore that and still insert themselves. Or you don't want to talk about a specific thing, but they ignore that and continue. They may latch onto one person in the group. They target a specific person. That person they may see is the person that they could prey on. They diminish other people's problems, and people may start to walk away from the conversation. Like people are getting aggravated with this person and they don't want to deal with it, so they walk away. And this typically would be people who aren't like that, because some people are just mean people and bullies. They may be that damn spiritual vampire or energy vampire themselves. But if you particularly know that, even the nice people walking away from this conversation, they aggravated, even if they don't walk away, but they get irritated and aggravated and short of patience, then something ain't right with someone in the group. That is signs in them. Signs that you will get if you have a spiritual vampire or energy vampire in your life. Feeling drained all the time. This is like the key giveaway for me most of the time. Always feeling drained or fatigue after being around them. While you're with them, you might feel restless or anxious, aggravated. You may be stressed with them, or the thought of about to be with them, or after being with them. You may avoid socializing as a method to protect yourself. Now, you don't want to talk to or be around them, but you always find yourself in their mix. Either they embarge on your life, or most of the time that's what it is. Or you have to, if it's in a workplace, you have to be there, and they again embarge on your space. And you're not welcome, you're not, really wanting it. You feel overwhelmed when you're with them, or about to be with them, or after being with them. You feel unsure, confused about them, always second guessing their motives and their intent. And then you may feel used or raped of something, or taken advantage of, or preyed on. I said these last two because they were extremely important. I started off with monitoring spirits and familiar spirits, but then these last two, because they can link to that. Jealous, envious spirits. When you harbor that, if you're jealous or envious of someone, you may sabotage somebody, you may want to kill them. Like, it gets that deep to where, some people may be jealous to the point that they do want to put a spell on somebody, or they start being a monitoring spirit so that they can sabotage you. With energy vampires or spiritual vampires, you are like with Samson and Delilah. At the end of the day, she was a monitoring spirit. She was monitoring this man so she can go and take that back to the Philistines. So these last two can link to familiar and monitoring spirits. You do not want people who's going to suck and drain your energy. That's going to take away from, your whole growth in life. Like, someone's constantly taking away from your energy. You hanging out with somebody, for one, that's taking away from your craft. Like, everybody need a break. Everybody need fun here and there. In the workplace, you want to talk to me. I got to do my work. And at the end of the day, you're behind. In life. So a guy or a woman that just may want to be with you every day, all day, you're taking away from productivity. And sometimes these spiritual vampires, they don't even know, but sometimes they do know. And when they do know, they are intentionally trying to drain you. But I've also experienced spiritual vampires, energy vampires that didn't even know that they were a vampire. They just never had, healed their trauma. And now, unconsciously, they're sucking other people's energy and not even knowing. So all of these, the definition, the attributes, the signs, all of these things are important. And hopefully whoever is watching this, y'all watching this because you question people in your life, and I pray that this gives you answers. Again, sometimes people don't even notice, or they don't know that they're doing this. They may need help themselves, and maybe the solution to that is direct them to seek some help. Like, you have trauma from your past you don't even know about, or you experiencing depression and anxiety, and you bring that on to me. Like, you have to get help, and then distance yourself and set those boundaries. Solutions. I know I like solutions. I'm not going to talk about things and don't have solutions for it. Okay, so preservation. It is important to preserve yourself. Preservation does not mean isolation. You can preserve yourself without isolating yourself completely, living under a rock. Just valuing yourself, your energy, what you're trying to do in life, and knowing in order to get somewhere in life, you have to be your best self, and you need energy to do that. So if you're giving your energy to others, then you're taking away from yourself. Cut them off. That's my favorite thing. But sometimes that's not always so easy. So you may find yourself, you may have to use their signs and attributes against them to get rid of them. For example, if they are a user, so some spiritual energy vampires are users. They want to drain you out of everything you have, or a specific thing you have. Ask them for things. Don't give in to what they are trying to take from you. These spiritual and energy vampires are takers, take, and don't give, right? So if you ask them for things and they're like, for one, they probably don't have it. But I don't even remember what the saying is. But one time my grandmother did tell me, if you want to get rid of a person, ask them for money. So if this user is asking for money or whatever they're asking for, ask them for that back. And eventually they're going to see they're not getting whatever they are asking for from you. So they're going to move around. Another example, men, women who use you for your energy, present them with what you know they don't want. This may be uncomfortable, but it will work. If someone don't have good intentions with you, more than likely, they will run away when a serious offer is on the table. So with this, I'm referring to, there are men and women who want to just drain the opposite sex energy, right? For the example of men, I'm going to say that they have women out here who want to have sex with you, especially before you're about to go out and about, to drain your energy. It's funny, I just had a conversation with some brothers about this, and they actually say sometimes it really don't even work, because you just got that first ejaculation off, and you giving me the power, the longevity to go with the next female, if that's the case. If a woman is trying to drain your energy so you won't have sex with another female. But as a spiritual woman, I understand, even if these men don't care about that or not spiritually on that level, As a spiritual person, I understand the power of sex, and that is draining a man's energy. There's a power in holding in your ejaculation. Matter of fact, Kevin Gates explained this in such a beautiful way.
To be honest with you, where I'm at on my journey right now, I know this gonna sound weird, this gonna sound crazy. I don't view sex as people view sex. I don't even really like talking about it in a sense because it's not physical for me, it's spiritual for me. It's a connection.
Okay.
You know, I pray before I have sex.
That's real.
And when I noticed, what made me kind of shy away from talking about it is because when I talk to women, it seemed like they was chasing after a fetish or they was seeking arousal or things of that nature and really wanted clout from those type of situations and conversations, but they don't understand, like, when you with God, this is spiritual unification. This not no just, you know, in and out to put, you know, I'm beating up back in. This ain't just that. You know, now we get excited sometimes, you know what I'm saying? If a woman say I ain't in her stomach, she hating on me.
That's how I was a superhero.
But I'm just saying that, like, I shy away from those type of conversations because it's like sex is sacred to me. It's spiritual unification. Come on, like, what man you meet that don't release?
Right.
What man have you met that don't release? That say, you know, my life force is so important to me that I don't release. So it's like whenever I would have a conversation with a woman about that, it's like you seeking arousal. Are you seeking something that's gonna make a wow factor from this? But this is my life. And it's not because I feel like I'm better than nobody. I know the power that it give me. Like, when you meet men, you can see, I meet men that release every day, all day, and they drained. They brain don't have the cognitive function that my brain has.
That's real.
They not as strong. I'm talking about emotionally, their emotions be in total disarray because you didn't spread your energy, spread yourself too thin with all these different women, you know, and our semen contains consciousness. So you place your consciousness everywhere.
Do you ever release, or you just never release? You just
If I need to release, your body gonna do it automatically. Your body just gonna release.
Okay, so about what Kevin Gates said, they do have studies on this. So there's studies where they found male DNA in women. Scientists say that it's because when a female has a son, that the son DNA can be left into the woman, but the study was also done on women who never had sons, and they found the male DNA in the woman. So then they say it's because the woman either had a twin brother who was a male or an older brother, and she got the male's DNA from their mother's womb. They did this study on 120 women without sons, and 21% of those women had male DNA. They say that no evidence is from sex, but there's no other explanation. You can literally Google, even when you kiss somebody, their DNA can be left within you for an hour, and then it starts to linger away. You know, after you kiss, you feel that strong, you know, feeling about that person, and then you just stay on your mind and all of that good stuff. You know, you might even, your woman's intuition might pick up on something about them. That's because of their DNA exchange. Sperm dies in the reproductive system after 5 days. However, the sperm and the DNA is within the sperm. So the sperm, the actual body can die, but what happens to the DNA? It's like your body dies, but your soul, you know, what happens to the soul after. You also can find studies that say DNA is left in male and female, you know, after unprotected sex. So the importance of semen retention. For one, semen retention is an ancient practice. Retaining in it can benefit a male by reducing erectile dysfunction. fertility, and it increases ejaculation when you do ejaculate. So those are some practices that some men who is on that level of spirituality or consciousness awakening, they practice that for those reasons. And you know, if that is the benefits of it, you can imagine the opposite, the cons of ejaculating, and you know, giving your DNA that's so tied to people is just not healthy. You know, we're talking about DNA here, and spreading your DNA to people that don't even deserve it, or people that may be a spiritual energy vampire just trying to suck the life out of you.
That ain't like teasing you. It's like, oh, you probably so mentally.
No,
that shouldn't be teasing
what
me.
you do is, it's called sexual transmutation. Like when I wake up with, they got something called morning wood. I don't just grab a sock and shoot it in a sock. I take that energy from that and jump straight out the bed and put it into my workout, or put it into my music, or put it into something that's gonna make me greater. Like sex transmutation. You translate that sexual energy into your craft.
I was just gonna say, like, one
Like
of
a
the
lot of
things
people
I
that
think
get
about,
injured, like when you play sports, like a lot of people that get injured and stuff like that. Like I noticed since I've been, well, he got me doing Pilates, I ain't had no injuries. And I noticed that,
Like flexibility time.
yeah, and I noticed that since I haven't been releasing, my recovery is like that.
if you can't be in control, then you're not in control, right? Like, can you say no? Can you walk away? Do you have boundaries around what you're doing? Training is another one, how you take care of your body. Like, I feel like you have to have a routine, a discipline around how you take care of yourself. And as athletes, a lot of this is already built in, that routine, that structure, you know, but we're not thinking about sex. And you gotta have that discipline. And when you do that, it's like, when you talk about evolving, and you talk about learning and experiencing different things, the world just opened up. The longest for me, I went 7 months celibate last year. Yeah. And I felt powerful, I felt
Into a
strong.
monster.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they laughing at me. I shared this with my team a couple
laughing.
weeks ago. No, it's another experience, but like,
I'm impressed.
I released a couple weeks ago. and look, bro, but I'm
See,
telling
when
you.
you was doing that, when we was communicating, you could see it all in your skin. Your glow was
Right.
there, and that's what the woman's ovaries are attracted to. Like that, you could walk in the room and your aura is so strong. It's called magnetism. I use that to magnetize the things that I want into my life, such as the accomplishments and goals. When I walk in a room, of course, a woman gonna say, yeah, I ain't really feeling him like that. You just saying that because the Don wasn't on location. But when I'm on location, you gonna lose your mind because your body, you having a chemical reaction to my aura. You can't help yourself when you in the presence of greatness.
Let me ask y'all this question, because you talked about sex being spiritual for you. Yeah, y'all know, she know exactly where I'm going, Ken, y'all know exactly where I'm going. Because like, I experienced something so, look, DJ, like, what did
Did you pray?
Nah, I ain't prayed. That's interesting. You
That's
pray?
why I
I
love
like
it.
they said that. I'm gonna pray
It's
for
the affirmation though.
You gonna pray, but who you praying over though? Like,
The woman that I'm energetically about to align with, we should want to make these affirmations before we enter this. She would be in tune with me. She gonna love it. She gonna say, you know, I never met no man that do this. I never met no man that do this. I never met no man that told me, hey, look, as soon as we finish, hey, make sure you go urinate. So I could clean out my urethra. You can clean out this is how we flush ourselves. You never met no man. I never met no man that was as clean as you. You know, like that's like if I have sex with a woman, and I might not give her no STD, but I go have sex with another woman. You know, just the energy could offset her pH levels.
that's real.
Just the energy from it. Because a woman's body is very, very sensitive to energy, such as men too, but we like to downplay it. Like if I get super angry, your body releases a chemical called cortisol, and it could give you a urinary tract infection, which most men don't know that.
So, yes, As far as women, I'm sure, you know, sexually the same thing, but it's happened. But my experience, especially lately since I've been celibate, I've definitely been having experiences with men where, and I have to say, they just like feminine energy. And it's so weird because I'm still trying to figure out why. But maybe, you know, as targets, you know, people just like spiritual people, they like talented people, they like, you know, driven people. Maybe they're a freaking monitoring spirit. I don't know. But I've experienced probably in the last
6 years
3 to 5 different guys who just wanted my presence. It starts off pretty fun because, again, they present themselves to be, you know, friendly, fun, cool, whatever. But then after some time, it starts getting a little bit overwhelming or weary. And I've noticed when I present to them that I like them, then it's like, whoa. And I'm like, that's natural. Funniest, dumbest thing about it is they don't even care to try to understand what level of life. They automatically think, I mean, marriage, I guess, because from jump they know I'm waiting for my husband in life, period. I'm not taking off friends for no reason at all. But there's different levels, right? None of those people would have qualified 100% to be, if they were to ask me today or tomorrow, do you want to get married? That would be a no. However, I need to get to know you to see if we're compatible, right? So for me, there's levels. There's an attraction, and clearly we had the physical attraction part down, but it's human nature. The more you hang with somebody, the more you're going to get a liking to them, a female friend or a male friend. But with male friends, it's always going to be different. It's just freaking different. The female's masculine, feminine energy is different. And so with me, I'm like, okay, this is not going to just be a take my feminine energy, and what am I, what is there to offer from your part? Is this going to lead to something possibly in the future? Or are you just trying to take my energy? And I think that's more so where we trying to have an understanding of when I present, how I feel. Now I know I am a very deep person, so my expressions clearly were taken out of hand, misunderstood, but I now appreciate that because it allows me to see intentions. So I hope that makes sense. And that's what I mean by it may be uncomfortable to you, but it will work. So, that message is for women. If you sense that, a guy is just, even if a lot of times it's easy to see sex, but when it's not sex, because they respecting that you're celibate, well, what else? What is this, right? And sometimes it could just simply be not them per se, but that monitoring spirit that is within them, or that energy vampire that is within them, that spiritual vampire that is within them, that just want to suck on your energy. I know it's weird, but it definitely happens. Play dumb, but move wisely. Be quiet. Okay, so here's another example. This can be with man and woman too. And another way I kind of pointed out somebody was a spiritual vampire. Just be quiet. There's a power in silence. Be quiet and allow them to speak. They just gonna yap, 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 yap. Back to this attributes. Someone who is an over talker, over exaggerates, and even lie. Like, you never made up a whole lie just to have a conversation. They won't let you get much out. Once you see the person is not really allowing you to speak, then just go ahead on, be quiet, and just listen to them. And it's gonna start coming out. It's gonna start coming out. So be quiet, allow them to speak. You will see them for who they are. What you have, don't give them your intelligence, don't give them your wisdom, don't give them your advice, your time. Act clueless and dumb, so the conversation is pointless to them, or there is no conversation, right? If you ignore them. Set boundaries, avoid confrontation, keep distance, and limit your exposure with them. So that would be for benign vampires, people you cannot avoid, your co-workers or your family members. Have some a level of assertiveness within the conversation. So when they bring it on, make it all about them, redirect the conversation. Prioritize your space. Take a minute, take a break, get away from them. And definitely say no. People hate to hear no. So the scriptures, I'm going to start on some scriptures for preservation. Psalms is our best friend for these topics. Psalm 16, this one, verse 1. Preserve me, O Most High, for in thee do I put my trust. Psalms 32, verse 7. The Most High, thou art my hiding place. Thou preserve me from trouble. Thou shalt compass me about the songs of deliverance. 36, verse 6. Thy righteousness is like the great mountains. Thy judgments are a great deep. O Most High, thou preservest man and beast. 121, verse 7. The Most High shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. 138, verse 7. Though I walk in the midst of my trouble, thou wilt revive me. Thou shalt stretch forth thy hand against the wrath of my enemies, and the right hand shall save me. Chapter 40. I waited patiently for the Most High, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. He brought me up also out of an horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock and established my goings. And he had put a new song in my mouth, even praise unto our Elohim. Many shall see it and fear and shall trust in the Most High. Blessed is that man that maketh the Most High his trust, and respected not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies. Many, O Most High, my Elohim, are thy wonderful works which thou hast done, and thy thoughts which are to us ward. They cannot be reckoned up in order unto thee. If I would declare and speak of them, they are more than can be numbered. Sacrifice and offerings thou doest not desire. My ears hast thou opened. Burnt offering and sin offering thou hast not required. Then say I, lo, I come, in the volume of the book that is written of me. I delight to do thy will, O Most High. Yea, thy law is within my heart. I have preached righteousness in the great congregation. Lo, I have not refrained my lips, O Most High. Thou knowest. I have not hid thy righteousness within my heart. I have declared thy faithfulness in thy salvation. I have not concealed thy loving kindness in thy truth from the great congregation. Withhold not thy tender mercies from me, O Most High. Let thy loving kindness, thy truth continuously preserve me. For innumerable evils have compassed about me. My iniquities have taken hold upon me, so that I am not able to look up. They are more than the hairs of my head. Therefore my heart faileth me. Be pleased, O Most High, to deliver me. O Most High, make haste to help me. Let them be ashamed and confounded together that seek after my soul to destroy it. Let them be driven backwards and put to shame that wish me evil. Let them be desolate for a reward of their shame, to say unto me, Aha, aha. Let all those that seek thee rejoice and be glad in thee. Let such as love thy salvation say continuously, the Most High be magnified. But I am poor and needy, yet the Most High thinketh upon me. Thou art my help and my deliverer. Make no tarrying, O Most High. And so that one, if you are deeply being attacked by a spiritual vampire or a energy vampire, you may want to refer to that one in chapter 62. Truly my soul waited upon the Most High. From him cometh my salvation. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be greatly moved. How long will he imagine mischief against a man? Ye shall be slain, all of you. As a bowing ball shall ye be, and as a tottering fence. They also consult to cast him down from his intelligency. They delight bullies. Remember, I said they could be bullies. They also consult to cast him down from his intelligence. They delight in lies. They bless their mouth, and they curse inwardly. My soul, wait thou only upon the Most High, for my expectation is from him. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. The Most High is my salvation and my glory. The rock of my strength and my refuge is in the Most High. Trust in him at all times, ye people. Pour out your heart before him. The Most High is a refuge for us. Surely men of low degree are vanity, and men of high degree are a lie. To be laid in the balance, they are together lighter than vanity. Trust not in oppression, and become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, set not your heart upon them. The Most High had spoken once, twice have I heard this. The power belongeth to the Most High. Also unto thee, O Most High, belongeth mercy. For thou renderest to every man according to his work. Those Psalms can be referred to if you are being attacked by a spiritual energy vampire. These people can be at work, in your church home, your worship homes, your living space, you know, every day, every walk, wherever. They may have monitoring spirits. They may have people trying to utilize familiar spirits. They may have spiritual vampires, energy vampires, and jealous, envious spirits, but keep the Most High first. Follow his ways, his laws, statutes, and commandments wholeheartedly with all your heart, so we might do everything, all of the commandments that we can possibly do without excuses. Of course, we cannot do all of them. We don't have the priests, we don't have our judges. Females can't do male ones, and males can't do female ones. All of that is a given. You know, people try to be funny and act like they don't know what it means to do all that you can possibly do. Protect yourself, preserve yourself, be mindful, take heed to cues, take heed to your intuition. Like I mentioned, I believe the Most High speaks to us through our dreams and through our intuition, and a lot of times we ignore our intuition. Our intuition tells us who these people are so many times, and hopefully that can give you a little insight that there is a such thing as spiritual and energy vampires. You can actually Google energy vampires. Psychiatrists have numerous studies and articles out there about energy vampires. You know, these are actual real things that could be researched, and also things that is in scripture. So shalom, stay tuned for jealous, envious spirits. Unfortunately, yeah, I hate them. Bye.